Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Sportslook, the sports television program for the high plains of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and you don't have to wait for your 50-year reunion to relive the glory of the high school experience, because we're going to have a whole episode devoted to high school. We're going to have Caleb King, the head coach of Melrose football. We're going to have Jaime Ramirez, the head coach of Portales football. We'll have a high school spotlight featuring Kiki and Scott. But as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. Eastern Rodeo hosted the College Days Rodeo last weekend, ironically enough, in Levelland, Texas. Nobody qualified for the short go, but they still have an individual male and an individual female that are in the top in their region. We also had Greyhound baseball. 4 close games against University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. Unfortunately, they lost all 4. Greyhound softball lost a doubleheader to Kingsville, lost 3 games to Texas International, and also lost their head coach. Interim coach will be taking over for them. And Greyhound track and field had their first track meet of the year, and congratulations to Jessica Campbell. She won the high jump at that prestigious event. Well, that has been your Eastern recap, so we'll clear the set and we'll bring in our first guest, Caleb King, right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and it is a privilege to bring to the set of Sportslook the head coach of Melrose football, the head coach of Melrose girls basketball, Caleb King. And Coach, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, Caleb, a lot of people probably know this already, but for the viewers that may not know the story, where are you from and what was the process that got you to those head coaching positions in Melrose?
Oh, I'm originally from Portales, New Mexico, graduated there, went to Eastern, and then went to Dora High School and coached there for several years. And somewhere in there, I just switched jobs, and Dickie Roybal got me to come to Melrose, and that was about 6 years ago, and I've been there ever since. And I've coached head coach for football for 3 years, and head coach for girls basketball for 6 years. So.
And what was your association with sports growing up in Portales?
Oh, I played football and played basketball, and then I played tennis. Actually, played tennis at Portales High School, and played for Coach Mark Gallegos in basketball. Was a great coach, and Glenn Johnson for football, and the legend Bill Wallman for tennis. So, yeah, a lot of good years there.
And who were the influences on you athletically?
Oh, Mark Gallegos was a big one. He was for basketball there. I mean, he taught me everything as far as that kind of stuff goes. Bill Wallman coached me since I was probably 6 years old doing the summer tennis. So he was a big influence. And then, Glenn did too. And Mark McAfee was a big influence on me too. And coaching, he was also my youth minister at Portales. So, I mean, just tons of coaches in Portales High School that did a great job with us, and great mentors, and really glad I graduated there. So.
And Caleb, at what age did you think that you wanted to go into coaching?
Oh, I probably never really thought about it growing up. And then when I got to college, I was doing tutoring in the area, and I was tutoring at Dora High School and stuff. And Ty Thatcher was coaching out at Dora. Guy who came from Portales and was a good coach there. And he asked me to, do you want to help me with, coaching basketball and baseball and whatever else? And got me into it. And, first couple of years, I just fell in love with it and had a passion for it, and just went from there. So it was kind of a crazy beginnings that I was never looking for. So,
for many coaches, they start out as an assistant and then they become a head coach. Some people get hired as a head coach right out of college. So what was it like just becoming a head coach at such a young age?
Oh, it was, like whenever I started, I think the players weren't that much, younger than me. I was just about to finish college and got a head coaching job there at Dora. And it was one of thit things where, it helped me relate with them quite a bit. Same music, that type of stuff, so I could, joke around with them about what was going on, if that kind of thing. So kind of relate that way, but also kind of you really have to set up, your discipline and that type of stuff, so they understand, that you are their coach and you're their mentor and those type of things. So, but I never really thought about it a whole lot. I just kind of coached and did it the way my coaches did it, and it kind of has worked really well for me, and my players enjoy playing for me. So that's something that just kind of rolled with it. So.
In what ways are you still the same type of coach that you were when you started out? In which ways have your coaching philosophies evolved?
Super competitive. I mean, that's just, I mean, I don't like to lose at anything. It could be Monopoly. I'm not going to want to lose. So that side of it, just drives me. I don't want to ever lose a game. I always tell my players, I probably hate losing more than I even like winning. I know I don't want to lose. And that kind of thing has driven me to really work hard at it, study film, try to be at the best that I can be. Probably the things that have changed is just an understanding that, there's always something to learn. There's always something to figure out. Probably when I was younger, I probably thought I knew a lot more than I did. And then as I've gotten older and I've seen all the great coaches across our state and just kind of talking to them, learning new things and that type of thing, it's just, there's always something for me to learn. And it kind of makes me a little bit more excited about it too. I always want to, go find and be the best that I can be. So that's kind of something that I've kind of picked up. So.
I was smiling as you were saying that because one of my favorite sports books of all time is a book called Semi-Tough by an author named Dan Jenkins. And that was the first time I ever came across the philosophy. Everybody likes winning, but it's the people that hate losing that are really going to be the most successful.
Oh yeah, and it's just one of those things. And I think it's kind of an attitude our players have kind of picked up and stuff. I mean, it's just one of those things that sometimes it's hard to go through practice. It's hard to go through the grind of those type of things, and they don't want to lose, so they find a way to make it through it. So.
In terms of your coaching, you're a girls basketball coach. You're obviously a guy. What sort of a transition was it, or was it really pretty simple to go from playing boys basketball to coaching girls basketball?
Oh no, it was a whole nother thing, and I never dreamed I would do it either. There's a family at Dora, the O'Connors, and Mike O'Connor. He was a teacher out here, and Paisha O'Connor, and then they had two kids, and Casey and Tierney O'Connor. And Tierney was a senior, and they had a coaching opening, and they asked me to step in and do it, and I just did it because being friends with that family, understanding the girls there, they really wanted to win. I never dreamed I would have done that, and it was a huge transition at first. And one of the people who really helped me out with that was Ruth Chavez, who was the volleyball coach in Portales, and she just told me, like, treat them like boys, Caleb, just treat them like boys. She said they'll react and they'll do a good job, and yeah, it was quite a transition to do that.
Well, of course, we're so glad that we're playing sports again. Right now, you're coaching football, but a year ago, you were actually coaching girls basketball, and that must have been an emotional roller coaster to actually start playing and then find out that, yeah, you were going to continue to play, that there wouldn't be any fans in the stands.
Oh, it was crazy. And we played our semifinal game against Fort Sumner, and we went to bed that night thinking we were going to wake up and play in the pit with all of Melrose there to support us. And and that night I'd actually got a text, but I was already asleep, and I woke up the next morning. It was just there, we won't have fans at the games, and COVID had happened, and so they were going to shut it all down. And the first thing I had to think of was going and talking to my girls, because they're so close with the families, and it's just one big family, and they all support us so well. And just thought that they would be really upset about it as far as that goes, and they were. But another one of them said, we got to go do it for our town of Melrose and for our people there, and go play that game. And they did a great job, and we came away with a win. But it was an eerie feeling walking into the pit, and there's nobody there. It's just empty seats. But I mean, sometimes you have to do those things. So.
Well, the good news is that you'll have a chance to defend your state championship in girls basketball. Football, a little different story. Of course, state champs, but this year we're essentially playing a number of games, but technically no football championship this year.
Yeah, and we've kind of talked about it because our last game, which is actually this Friday, we play Fort Sumner, and we're both undefeated, and we kind of figured that would have kind of been it out how it goes. So and it's a big rival, so we're ready to go play against them. And that's it's kind of our own mini state championship thing where we're kind of preaching it to our boys, and they want to go play for that pride, right, of winning those games. And I mean, I have several players that they're just happy to play, and we have a kid, Devin Bailey, who's going to be a college player here at Eastern, and he's really excited about getting to play games, and that was our big hope. So we're just so proud that our state allowed us to get to play these games and to be a part of this, because those seniors, they really, that's something they were really always looking forward to. So basketball will be a little bit different, but we're just happy to get to play games.
Caleb, obviously a big difference between the two sports, but if you had to sum it up and say that there's one attribute or one characteristic that you hope people would say is true about your football team and your girls basketball, what characteristic would you hope they share?
Oh, it's kind of a that's kind of a tough one, because there's so many characteristics you hope you build inside of them. I would think though that just like, it's kind of, we talk about it all the time of just being motivated and just being inspired. And we talk about that because we want them to be motivated in the classroom and inspired in the classroom, and just wanting to be your best at all the time. And that's something that we talk about all the time. And it's just for a life type of deal. They want to leave there. And, I always tell them, like, I don't want high school to be the highlight of your life. I want you to move forward, look back at those great memories, but move forward and create new ones. Go, be great and successful inside of, whatever you choose to do in your life also. So hopefully, we see that. And I know that me and Coach Roy Ball, all of our football players have gone off to go to a college or a trade school, and they come back and they talk to us all the time about how much they enjoyed playing for us in football and stuff. And that's probably the biggest pride thing that I have as far as football goes.
Well, Caleb, it's a pleasure. You're one of my former advisees. Mm-hmm. It's great to see you have success. Great success this Friday night against Fort Sumner. Good success in girls basketball, and we'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up our first interview segment. So what we'll do is we'll clear the set and we'll do a high school spotlight right now.
Welcome back, sports fans, to the latest edition of High School Spotlight. I'm your co-host, Scott Haas.
And I'm Kitana Soppingham.
And tonight, we have the volleyball matchup between the Portales Rams and the Goddard High School Rockets.
Yeah, the game went pretty much back and forth, but Goddard proved to be the powerhouse team.
Why don't we dive into some of those highlights?
The number 3 ranked Portales Rams are fired up to take on the number 1 ranked Goddard Rockets in this 4A battle.
It was the Goddard Rockets who came out swinging to start the scoring Tuesday night. Alyssa Benavides places the ball just out of reach.
Next, there was some net play between both middle blockers, as well as some net play between the Rockets' outside hitter and the Rams' opposite.
On this play, we see number 14, Lacey Shuley, set a spot-on slide to number 9, Sophia Valdez. You're going to be hearing a lot of those names.
The Rams took advantage of a free ball, and number 11, Kylie Patton, answered it right away off of a 3 set by number 1, Madison Blakey.
Number 7, Reagan Courtney gets denied at the net, but covers herself and sets the ball for number 11, Kylie Patton, who spikes it down with authority.
On this play, 11, Kylie Patton, who scored her 3rd kill within this first set.
Then we see number 14, Lacey Shuley, set up the assist for number 6, Sydney Bills for the Rockets, resulting in number 10, Riley Schillings, shanking the ball out of bounds.
On the last play of the first set, a bad pass is made by Rams number 2, Kinsey Davis, leaving the final score at 25-22 in favor of the Rockets.
Starting off the second set, we see number 2, Kenzie Davis, ace the Rockets.
Number 7 for the Rams, Reagan Courtney, is denied yet again, this time by the Rockets' number 10, Taylor Mendoza, and number 6, Sydney Bills.
Next, we see number 14, Lacey Shuley, set the ball up for number 12, Alyssa Benavides, who gets some serious hang time as she tips the ball over and between 2 defenders.
On this play, we see the Rams score after a hitting error made by number 6, Sydney Bills, on an attempt to run a slide.
After a diving attempt to set it by number 14, Lacey Shuley, number 6, Sydney Bills, gets denied at the net by number 2, Kenzie Davis.
After an assist from number 10, Riley Schillings, lefty number 12, Emma Long, hit it between libero number 1, Caitlin Blanky, who couldn't dig it.
The Rams' number 10, Riley Schilling, sets the ball up for number 7, Reagan Courtney, who tips the ball to a defender who is unable to make the diving play.
After a free ball from the Rams, number 4, Maria Armendariz makes a connection with number 9, Sofia Valdez, on another slide kill.
To number 1, Caitlin Blankney, setting the ball for number 12, Alyssa Benavides, to tip it over for the point. This concluded the second set with a score of 25-17. Rockets up 2-0.
The Rockets carried this momentum into the third set as yet another connection is made.
After a free ball from the Rams, the Rockets quickly capitalize as they run an X, which results in number 6, Sydney Bills, coming away with the point.
Number 2, Kinsey Davis, puts up a perfect pass for number 1, Madison Blakely, point for the Rams.
There's a little controversy on this next play as we see number 12, Emma Long, for the Rams make an illegal throw after attempting to tip it.
Here, we see a little switch up as number 4, Maria Armendariz, sets player of the match, number 14, Lacey Shuley, on the outside and scored a cross-court kill.
The Rams quickly get that point back on the next possession. It's number 2, Kenzie Davis, with the roof for the Rams, giving them the point.
The Rams scored on consecutive possessions as number 11, Kylie Patton, put it down from an assist by number 10, Riley Schilling.
That statement's proven true as setter number 1, Madison Blakey, positions the ball for number 11, Kylie Patton.
The Rockets could not shut her down because here we see number 11, Kylie Patton, with yet another kill.
With time running out in the match, the Rams make an unforced error as number 2, Kenzie Davis, puts a little bit too much on it, resulting in the ball going out of bounds, giving the Rockets a point.
And to close up the match, another setter middle connection is made by the Rockets, number 14, Lacey Shuley, and number 9, Sofia Valdez, securing the dub for the Rockets 25-21. Thanks for watching High School Spotlight. Before we throw it back to Doc, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, like our Facebook page, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more photos, updates, and highlights. Once again, I'm Kitana Sapinga.
And I'm Scott Haas, and we'll see you guys next week.
Welcome back to Sportslook. Thanks to Kiki and Scott for that look at high school volleyball, and we're going to keep it on the high school level, but we're going to switch to football. We're bringing back to Sportslook Jaime Ramirez, the head coach of the Portales Rams. And Coach, welcome back to Sportslook.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Coach, obviously for people who know about Portales, know about football, you guys have been pretty successful the last few years. What has it been that's allowed you to be so successful on the high school level in football?
I think that we do a few things that I think are some non-negotiables that we expect the kids to be good in the classroom. We expect them to be good citizens and to treat people right, and then make sure that they are accountable in terms of the way they act outside of the classroom, and then also on the football field. And then I think one thing that I think we are that we stress more than anything is be the man that you want to be. And if you're going to honor God and say that you follow God, then Jesus, then you're going to make sure that your attitude and your actions reflect that. And I'm not saying that we're perfect by any means, and none of the kids are. I'm not perfect. The coaches aren't perfect. And the kids are definitely not perfect, but whenever you make a mistake, you own up to it, and then you move on.
At what point did you realize that your kids had bought into your message?
Early on. I think this is a good community, and I think I've been here since 2012. This is my 9th football season, or maybe you can say 8.5. But this is from day one. I think that the kids have bought into what we were trying to promote and accomplish. And really, we want to teach the fundamentals of football and make great young men out of the men that we already have. And because at the end of the day, no one really cares about wins and losses. No one cares about how many championships you won. What they really care about is how did you treat my child whenever they were under your care. And so And the kids, they come back because we truly care as a staff about all of our kids. We make sure that they know that. And then if they want to try to advance their career in football, we try to find them a place to play. And we have a lot of connections throughout the years. We've been blessed with some really good talent. And so the kids know that we care about them. And I think when a kid knows that you care about them, then they're willing to do more for you.
Coach, for people that didn't get a chance to see your first appearance on Sportslook, they may be surprised to find out that coaching wasn't a given in your life. As a matter of fact, there was another career that you could easily have pursued.
Yeah, I got my degree in accounting, and so, I kind of say that God guided me this way into this profession, and I'm thankful. This is my 27th year of teaching and coaching, and God's blessed me with a lot of great years, and so who knows how long I'll go after these next few years, but I've been blessed the whole time that I've been doing this.
In what ways are you still the same coach that you were 27 years ago, and what ways are you a different coach today?
I think that the way that I approach the athletes, I'm the same. I think I've been the same from the very beginning. I've always I love that relationships that you build with the young athletes, and that you can help them become what they want to do and help them become successful, not only on the playing field, but in the classroom and then in life in general. And I think I've stayed the same and stayed consistent with that. And I think you can ask most kids that, I might be tough in terms of the way that I approach or demand certain things from them, but at the end of the day, they know that I care about them. I think one way that I have changed a little bit is that at the beginning of my career, I think that I think that I didn't understand that it was really never about me or anything. It was more about, these kids that I'm dealing with and making them successful. And I think sometimes you can lose sight of that. But I've definitely, I'm a kid first coach.
In your years at Portales, you've won a state championship at the Greyhound Stadium. You won a state championship in 2019 on the road. Are they similar experiences, or is one kind of a little sweeter than another?
They're both awesome. I mean, anytime that you can win one, it doesn't matter whether you win it at home or you win it on the road. I think just to win a state championship is special. And I've been blessed here. I've had a couple. And so I'd, of course, love to win some more.
Well, speaking of which, we had hoped that this would be a year where the Portales Rams would get a chance to defend their state championship. But you've got like the next best thing to it. If you can't actually play for a state championship, a chance to play a regular season matchup when you're rated #1 against a team that's rated #2 in the state is a pretty close equivalent. And you've got that against Lovington this weekend.
Yeah, they're a very good ball club. And, we just, whoever's, the team that we're playing at that time for that week is all that we're, concerned about. And so it happens to be Lovington this week, and we'll approach them the same way that we approach any other team. And we're going to work hard as a coaching staff to game plan, to find out, areas that we think that we can attack offensively and defensively, try to stop what they want to do. And then at the end of the night, we hope to be 1-0 on Friday night, because that's the week that we're dealing with. It's the Lovington week.
Of course, your state championship team, you had a lot of seniors that were instrumental. Phil Bleedy, who of course went on to play at Texas Tech, but you had a good nucleus of seniors coming back, including a senior quarterback.
Right, Baylor Diaz, and he's an outstanding quarterback. I think you can see by the way that he plays with some passion. And I have several guys on the team that play with passion. Dason Davis, he's like a little bullet out there. You can see him. He's aggressive. You love to have him on your team whenever the way that he is and stuff. And he plays with a lot of passion. Baylor Diaz plays with passion. I have a lot of new seniors that are starting this year that had not started until this year, and they're doing a great job. My whole senior class is bought in, and I've had a few guys that haven't played since they were freshmen and have came back and have become impact players, like Nathan Cota, Adrian Ontiveros, Robert Insignias, that are playing big roles for our team, and honestly, I have some guys that are first-year starters that hadn't started before, but are getting on the playing field, like Carlos Delgado, Jude Uroste, Josh Reyes. Several guys that have just come in and made a big impact on our team as seniors this year. And then none of our linemen on either side of the ball are seniors. They're all juniors and sophomores, which, they're going to get better each and every ball game, and that's what we knew would happen, and they're doing a great job.
Well, Coach, in the minute or so we've got left, if you had to say that there's one thing that people would say if they come out and watch the Portales football team play, what do you hope they say about your kids?
The team is aggressive and disciplined.
Well, Coach, it's been.
I know that was two.
Well, no, exactly. But you summed it up so quickly. We'll let you put in two there. You've had great success, not just in terms of wins and losses, but in terms of molding young people, and so continued success in terms of wins and losses, but continued success in molding character.
I appreciate that.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up our interview segment for Sportslook. So what we'll do is we'll clear this out, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. When Abilene Christian announced that they were going to move to Division I back in 2013, I thought, good luck with that, because I knew they were going to be good in certain sports like baseball and women's basketball, but in men's basketball, we had dominated them in the Lone Star Conference. As a matter of fact, 4 years running, we had swept the season series against them. And I thought that about Abilene Christian moving up to Division I all the way to last Saturday night when they beat Texas in the March Madness. And at that point, I thought, maybe the people that run Abilene Christians could see a little bit farther into the future than I could. Well, that is going to wrap up an overtime, and that will wrap up an episode of Sportslook. I'd like to thank my guests, Caleb King from Melrose Football and Jaime Ramirez from Portales Football. I'd like to thank Kiki and Scott for the high school spotlight. I had a brand new floor director, Miss Aisha, tonight. So for all of those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.
Goddard. Okay.
Sorry, give me like 2 seconds. I was like staring too hard into the camera.
You're good.